I remember when GSM first came out, it was 50 naira per minute then. Now the government, of course,
Yes.
it come down. It eventually came down to how much now? Before this increase again, how much is
I think
GSM?
it came down to about, is it 17 naira per call?
17. Now the
17 naira
government is
thereabout.
increasing it again to 50. I don't know, Barrister. What is wrong with this Bola Tinubu's government? That I don't know why you should be things should be. You want to increase tax, you want to increase tariff, you have increased the electricity bill. For God's sake, the economy is not doing well. People are jobless, and the labor market is becoming broader and broader. For God's sake, why? I don't know. This is not increments like this come when the economy is booming and people are doing well. Barrister, what is your take on this? And the worst part is that people are organizing protest that has never worked. Bola Tinubu does not believe in it. It does not. That man is behave like the military. That's just the reality. He doesn't listen. He doesn't. The moment he does something, he's out to do something. He does not listen to any sense of reasoning at all. Protest will not do anything. To only eventually cripple Nigeria, and the poor man on the street will be the one to suffer to suffer the brunt of the whole thing. What is your take on this issue of 50 naira increment on GSM tariff?
Well, one has to really sympathize with people operating business in Nigeria today. The government has given approval to the telecoms company to hike their tariff by as much as 50%. Now, this is the logical consequence of the withdrawal of petroleum subsidy, where there is a bandwagon effect on operating cost of business all across the board, from transportation to agriculture to everything you can think about. If you are operating a telecom business, if you know what is on ground now, when they came, there was complete absence of infrastructure.
Sorry, Barrister. Sorry to cut you short. I made a mistake. It's not 50 naira, but 50%. I beg your pardon. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
I said 50%.
Yes. Yeah, I was the one who made the mistake.
Okay. There was complete absence of infrastructure of any kind. And then they were forced to purchase the license at terribly exorbitant rates. I think at that time it was $285 million for license. Now, when you put in that amount, then you begin to put in the infrastructure. Telecom masts throughout the country, which in every telecom mast there are 2 huge generators to run it, because you cannot rely on the public power grid. You have generators to run every mast. You have people that supply fuel to those generators. You have people that repair it. And these masts are dotted all over the country. So whenever there is instability in the price of diesel and other prices in the country, it's going to affect seriously affect their balance sheet and their operating cost. So one has to understand it is not, if they are not allowed to increase, they will fall up. Because you cannot be buying diesel at the rate it is being sold now, or fuel, and then maintain the prices, just like transportation. People who are having vehicles on the road, by virtue of the amount they are buying fuel now, they also have to increase. So everybody operating a business, even a restaurant, even a barbing salon. Today, I told you that barbing salon in Banawa, where I stay, is between 3,000 and 4,000 plus to barb your hair.
Are you serious?
Now, yes, to photocopy something now is about 50 naira and above, when it used to be 20. So all across the board, everybody running a business has jacked up his price to meet with the inflation from the cost of energy and other associated costs. So one has to sympathize with them because they are victims of bad economic policies. They, the telecom companies, are victims, just like the average Nigerian, of a bad and ill thought out government economic policies. This is what I said right from the beginning. The man had nothing to offer. So he came and tried to react to launch from here to that side, launch from here to that side without a clear-cut forward movement. We are now in a vicious cycle where everybody raises prices and then the price increase, then we come back to raise again.
Barrister.
With no possibility of the prices coming down at any time in the future.
Yeah, I think relatively I agree with you on that. But again, honestly, these telecom companies are exploitative. You have to accept that they are exploitative. Even at that 17 naira a call, 17 naira for a call, a minute call. It's just they still make that. Look, at the end of the year, these telecom companies, you hear them reporting billions of naira worth of profit. The only thing is that most of these companies, I understand that what they are doing is they want to either sustain their profit or move ahead of their, just at least a step further from their from their previous profit. That is what they do. They want to keep increasing. That's just the reality. That it will never. I've never had any telecom company going bankrupt. The worst situation we have always had is, okay, they sell off to another, and one telecom company comes to swallow the other one or whatever, probably when they have some kind of mismanagement. Sort of, but
of course, you have to understand that they are competing with each other. Yes. They are competing and trying to get ahead of their competitors. So they have to maintain not just a hefty balance sheet, but a hefty profit margin in order to compete.
Yeah, but again,
I really sympathize with them.
No, honestly, I do not. Honestly, I do not. These are just this is what we call the capitalist idea. Well, capitalism is good. There's no doubt that I believe in capitalism. That is, I'm a conservative person when it comes to policies. I believe it, but at the end of the day, but the reality is, I've always believed in balancing capitalism, balancing it with social sensitivity, a sort of, because even though look, we all should be able to give to the society. I do not see. You said earlier that the telecom companies are like they are also victim to the bad policies of the government. Well, I do not see them. I don't consider all those companies as victims. I only consider, because these companies, just like you noted earlier, they will adapt and evolve with what is going on. So if the policy is bad, they will evolve with the policy and adjust their own whatever to conform with the policy, the bad policy. So at the end of the day, they are part. I don't consider them as victims. We are the only victims. The government and the companies are not. They are not. They are part of our problems, because if you are making 100 naira profit in a product, and there is inflation or something, bad policy, government policy comes around and probably hits you in a way that, okay, the profit, you're not losing, but you only be probably making 90 naira as against the 100. I expect you to help, at least also give to the society, a sort of, by say, okay, let us tolerate this for now, and obviously help people. I'll probably make it in a way that, or rather, make the system in a way that it will recognize, there will be distinction, there will be a recognition of a distinct recognition of between the rich and the poor in the society. Then you'll be able to identify which lines goes to the privileged, and the lines that goes to the middle class, and the lines that goes to, just like what we are doing. The government decided to do with what do you call it, with electricity tariff. sort of. So you'll be able to, at least it should be relative. Then you segregate the whole thing, you partition the billing system, the tariff, sort of. So you'll be able to identify who those people who can afford it as against those that cannot or that can barely afford it. Sort of. But for you to give blanket stuff, increase the whole thing, and the rich, the super rich in the society pays the same thing as what the common man on the street pays, it doesn't make sense. Sort of. So that could have been the worst case scenario. Sort of, okay, increase, leave the low class, leave their tariff to remain, and the middle class, the same middle class to the low class, leave the tariff to remain. Then the rich and the super rich, you can jack it up 10 times the amount, and that is just it. So honestly, I don't sympathize with them. I don't see them as victims, as co-victims rather.
Let me insist that the increase was inevitable. The only issue one can take up with them is the quantum, the amount of the increase. But the increase in the tariff was very, very, imperative. When you reduce or remove fuel subsidy, and overnight, the cost of energy rises by more than 600%. On top of that, you put your electricity, you increase your electricity bill. On top of that, you increase the minimum wage. Now, this minimum wage also affects workers in the private sector. Telecoms are bound to adjust their salaries in accordance with the new minimum wage. That means they are going to pay their workers more. That means they are going to spend more money on their energy and about everything. So the increase in tariff became inevitable. My only concern with it is the quantum of the increase. 50% increase is what we have been saying, that such an increase damages the economy more than it helps the economy. It is one of the criticisms I gave against the fuel price, the fuel subsidy that catapulted prices by over 600%. We can do this gradually to enable the economy to absorb it, to enable the people to absorb it without harsh pain. But when you increase prices by 50%, it's bound to affect the economy and become counterproductive in the long run. That was the first criticism of the fuel subsidy issue. And so I will also bring the same criticism to them for jumping the increase to up to 50%. It's too much. They could have made it highest 20%, maybe in the first instance. And people with the hardship in this issue will not be like 50% increase. That is my only problem with that. In my office here, there is telecom mass. I see them weekly, they bring trucks to supply diesel. I see them bring people to repair or check the generators, 2 generators that service the mosque. And I now think of the thousands and thousands of mosques all across Nigeria, they are doing the same thing. So when the cost increase, they also have to, but you do not have to raise it too. The government was wrong to approve a 50% increase. Half of that would have been better.
You and I we are not on the same page on this. Sort of, I don't agree with you. I just agree to the contrary, actually. All right, Barrister, thank you so very much for this. I appreciate that you responded to my call to be on this show today. It was unscheduled, yet you made out time to be here. I very, very appreciate that so much. Thank you, Barrister, once again.
Thank you. I'm grateful too.
All right, viewers. See you again next time, and remain blessed.